I'm using a throwaway account because this is incredibly humiliating to admit. I never thought I'd be in this position, but here I am, confused, heartbroken, and facing the consequences of my own actions. My name is Lily. I'm 24, and my husband, now possibly my ex, is 26. We've been married for 3 years after meeting in college. I believe we were solid, not perfect, but stable. Jack was my anchor, steady, calm, endlessly patient. Looking back, I see how much I took that for granted. How much I took him for granted. Our personalities couldn't have been more different. Jack was quiet and introverted, happy to spend his time reading or watching documentaries. I, on the other hand, was always drawn to the spotlight, laughing, hosting, and being surrounded by people. Jack never tried to dim my light. He came to every party, smiled through every loud night just to make me happy. Even when I could tell he wasn't comfortable, he never said a word or complained. He was always there, bringing me my favorite coffee, skipping his plans when I needed him, taking care of everything at home. I didn't work. We had no children. Yet, he did the cooking, the cleaning, paid the bills, and never once held it over my head. Instead of being grateful, I started seeing him as soft. I let the wrong people influence me. When I reconnected with some college friends, the shift began. They thrived on parties, spontaneity, and told me I was wasting my youth being tied down. They said I was too energetic for someone like Jack. And the worst part, I started to believe them. One night, after drinking too much, I made jokes about Jack, how he always did what I said, how he'd probably jump off a cliff if I told him to. They laughed. I laughed. I felt powerful. I didn't realize how ugly that power was. That night wasn't an isolated incident. It became a routine. I joked about Jack, let my friends mock him, and I did nothing to stop it. Worse, I joined in. They called him whipped, joked that I wore the pants, and I soaked in the attention. Jack never called me out. Even when he clearly overheard, he just kept being the same kind, giving constant. I mistook that silence for acceptance. I thought he'd never leave, that he loved me too much. I began disrespecting him in the open. At dinners, at parties, I'd interrupt him, dismiss what he said, ignore him entirely. Slowly, others followed my lead. My treatment of him set the tone, and still he never raised his voice. He still brought me flowers, kissed me goodnight, told me he loved me every morning. Then came the neighborhood party, the night that ended it all. Jack was at the grill as usual, smiling and serving everyone. I was drinking with my friends when the topic turned to husbands. One of them made a joke about Jack being trained, and I took it further. I laughed, said he was spineless, that he didn't know how to say no to me. I was putting on a show, getting all the laughs. I didn't notice a shift in the mood until the silence hit. Jack was standing there. He had heard everything, and the look in his eyes, calm, cold, final, was something I'd never seen before. He just said, "We need to talk." I followed him, nervous, but not expecting what came next. Away from the crowd, he looked at me and said, "I'm done being your punching bag. I gave everything, and all you've done is tear me down. I'm leaving. You can pick up your things from the porch." And then he walked away. I chased after him, thinking he was bluffing, but by the time I got home, he had already packed my bags. I cried. I begged. I apologized. But he didn't get angry. He just said, "No more? You don't get to treat me like this and think I'll stay." When I said I wasn't leaving, he told me he'd call the police if I didn't. That's when I knew it was real. The man I thought would never stand up to me had finally had enough. I left that night with a suitcase, tears streaming down my face. Past neighbors who had seen it all. No one said anything, not even friends who used to laugh with me. I see now they were never really my friends. It's been a few days. I'm at my parents' house. Jack hasn't answered any of my calls or messages. Maybe never will. I don't know how to fix this or if it even can be fixed. I just know I broke something beautiful. I pushed away a man who loved me with his whole heart because I wanted to feel admired by people who didn't care about me. I made fun of the very person who cherished me. Jack finally found his strength, and I lost him for good. I needed to say it out loud. Maybe someone will think I'm a terrible person. Maybe I am.